Hi, my name's Caitlin Nguyen, and I'll be a guest on this podcast.
Hi. So today, starting off the topic, we be talking about one of the most popular crime cases is Ted Bundy. He was popular because of the way he approached women, because of his hatred for women. He used people's generosity to help him out because of his so-called injuries, which he been using that towards people themselves because of his own selfish needs. Learning more about him, about how he grew up and knowing his childhood, seemed like he wasn't supposed to grow up like a serial killer. But his trauma and abuse from a childhood, it made him into a different person because of his grown figures in life. They made him different because of the way how they give him I guess trauma throughout life, and I guess they gave him different type of hatred towards women in some way because no one really protected him while growing up. So he seems like an interesting character or like a person to learn about in true crime. So Caitlin, do you have any questions for me?
How did his parents treat him specifically?
I think it wasn't his parents. I think it was his grandfather from what I read online, because he started abusing his own grandson because of something, and I guess his mother didn't protect him as a mother should. In some way, like how our parents save us and help us. I guess his parent didn't really care much about him to let him get abused like that from his grandparents, grandpa, yeah. And then we'll also be talking about a second case about another popular true crime case. It would be the Night Stalker. He was popular during the late 80s in California. This seems long ago, but truly it seems a little recent to us because there was a documentary on him on Netflix that came out during quarantine season. It was interesting because it was similar but also kind of different from Ted Bundy, because growing up he seemed to have a good childhood until his father started abusing him as well. And then while going out with the abuse and trauma with him, he witnessed his cousin killing his wife. And then after that, he started to have crimes himself by robbing houses and then not going to school and stuff like that. And then afterwards, after robbery, he started increasing his robberies, I guess, making it seem more dangerous, breaking into people's houses. And then what else?
Then he began murdering people.
Also what?
Then he began murdering people.
Murdering people? Breaking into a house and murdering people because for his... I don't really know, honestly. And then, yeah. Slowly he increases his murder cases a lot throughout neighborhoods during the night, which label him the Night Stalker.
Most of his victims were children, I believe.
Children and women. Notice how I think probably growing up, both Ted Bundy and the Night Stalker, I guess their parents figures didn't protect them in some way. Mostly their mothers. So I feel like the hatred for women is pretty bad. What do you think?
I don't think it was his hatred towards specific women. I don't think he really had a real reason to kill them. He just grew up bad, and
yeah, which is really sad for a person, but what can you do? But that's all I mostly learned about throughout my weeks during the script. So in the end, learning about both cases is really interesting because of how they grew up in their own environment and their family style, and how school can may or may not influence the way they became. But most of the cases that I learned and know of it's the psychological side, because sometimes abuse from a grown-up or any type of figure in life can trauma a person or a little kid. sometimes like you need to figure out how to help them or like kind of like guide them in some way, you know?
Oh yeah, because when you're growing up, that's when your brain begins developing, like when you're younger.
Yeah.
So then when it doesn't develop properly, obviously it's gonna stay there until you become an adult.
Yeah, so like sometimes like Ted Bundy and like other serial killers, they come like a serial killer because of like their drama and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes school environment also like influence on that little part too.
Oh yeah, like bullying or bad teachers.
Yeah, kind of like in some way, but like the places I use for my website or like citing are like mostly biography websites that I had on my script. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.